Let's talk about the Waratahs now. They will not be happy with their season, you'd imagine. A lot of inconsistency, a lot of close losses. But Drew, what else sort of sums up their season this year, do you think?
Well, I think, it's probably that. There was so many times the outcome was determined by single-digit figures. They were great in terms of being able to get in the fight, but I think that's probably one of the biggest strengths of their season, but it's also probably one of the biggest weaknesses as to why they weren't able to find a way to get that outcome. So whilst it was a strength of theirs to put themselves in a position to win the game, for me it was also a weakness to not be able to find a way to actually turn that into a result. So
strength would be the character that they showed when things weren't maybe going to plan. I know sometimes there was the call that they didn't really have a plan B when things weren't going their way, but they still were in all but maybe one or two of their games throughout the season.
Yeah, they were. They can put that down to their defence, I believe. That really helped them this year, their defence, but as a result, I believe their attack suffered. We never saw them anywhere near the type of fluid attacking side that we saw last year. And if you think back to last year, I got visions of Michael Wells and Will Miller running down the sideline with 2-on-1s, putting Tunkeli Naravora away. So they never cope with the loss of Tunkeli Naravora, and that's not an easy thing to do. So he scored 15 tries, losing Israel Folau midway through the year. They got to go out and find some strike plays, and they've got to do it very quick because there's only a few months between now and pre-season. They've got to find a new coach, they've got to find some strike plays, and they're going to miss a few for next year.
Well, they do have plenty of players leaving for next year. One of their biggest losses, you'd have to say, both on and off the field, Sekope Kepu. He's such a leader within that Waratahs team.
Yeah, he is. He's been there for a number of years. He's had a brief stint overseas, but the whole time he's been there, he's been the cornerstone of that front row, and he's going to be a huge loss, not just for his work on the field, but his work off the field with their large Polynesian playing roster that Sekope's always been very good for them, similar to what Cliffy Palu did before he went overseas. But we're no certain to know if Kurtley Beale or Bernard Foley, we're hoping those guys will stay around. We're probably hearing that Bernard won't be, but that's another massive loss. If we lose Christian Leali'ifano and Bernard Foley, we're talking Quade, Australian rugby, it's you expect it in a post-World Cup year, but I don't know if we've done enough work at the low level below us to get guys ready for that.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, best player in the Waratahs, hard to go past their captain and the work rate that he provides, Michael Hooper.
Yeah, I mean, he's just Mr. Consistent. I think, the work rate, it's not necessarily all the highlight reel stuff, but he just does so much off the ball. He's covering, plenty of metres just to get himself in a position to be in and around that football. He is exactly that. He's a genuine footballer. He knows where to be, where to pop up. Probably doesn't get the accolades that he deserves for the turnovers, the work that he's improved on at the breakdown, because there are other probably more genuine sevens that get those accolades ahead of him, but he's actually done a lot of work in that area, and he's really strong in that area as well. So I think for me, you can't go past Michael Hooper as Player of the Year.
Yeah, I agree. In a year where a team struggles, you're always going to find the guys with the best character, and that's Michael Hooper. I also think with his turnovers, he gets a lot of forced turnovers, but he doesn't necessarily get them just by getting over the ball like George Smith or David Pocock. He gets them by good front on tackles, getting back to his feet, taking space. So if you look at the numbers, he's up there with the best, the most turnovers in the competition. He just gets them a different way.
He's had a lot of work to do off the field as well, with the turmoil they've been through. Building on this year, what do they need to do for next season, Drew?
Well, firstly, they need to get a coach. That would help. That would help. Then also, again, much like the Brumbies, they need to work really hard in recruitment and go shopping for players. They didn't fill the void of a Tunkeli Naravora, someone who can go out there and find the try line and almost just sometimes alleviate a little bit of stress by just coming up with something out of nothing. And then they also lost Israel Folau and his ability to score tries. So they need a genuine try scorer somewhere there. They also need, I think, some players in and around the tight five, and just someone that can bend the line. They just need to get over that advantage line. Someone that can come around that corner, get their shoulders through and bend the line.